So a very warm welcome to everybody here. This is the BCS Sidney Michaelson lecture. For those of you that don't know, aren't aware, British Computer Society is BCS. It's the Chartered Institute for IT, and it's a professional body I'm really quite proud to be part of. And on Sidney, Sidney Michaelson came to Edinburgh University in 1963 to set up the first computer unit after doing some undergraduate studies in maths and some postgraduate studies in the applications of engineering and mathematics as well. Soon he was joined by a chap called Tommy Thomas, who set up the Regional Computing Centre. But if we look at the School of Informatics at the University of Edinburgh now, we can really look at it as Sidney's legacy. It's not only, he wasn't only the first professor of computing science here in Scotland, but he helped set up computing science as a discipline. He helped have it as an engineering subject. And he worked very hard with the BCS in doing this, which is partly why we like to remember him. And he made sure that BCS was getting recognised as a member of the Engineering Council as well. And he started from some pretty humble beginnings, so I think an inspiration for us all, to take a moment or two later to Google him if you haven't heard of Sidney. His subject was stylometry, which I had to look up to understand more of, and I did do computing science at university, and that's about analysing text and looking for patterns that can be identified. So if anyone's heard about some of the discussions and debates about whether Shakespeare really did write some of this collection of works, then stylometry would be really applicable here. And one of the things that Sidney was famous for was actually applying stylometry to the Bible. But now on to this evening's speaker, Professor Bill Buchanan, OBE. He's a professor in the School of Computing at Edinburgh Napier University, and he's very well known for his public engagement work and a number of things like news interviews and conference, that sort of thing. If I took the time to tell you all of his successes, then there wouldn't be all that much time for Bill to speak this evening. So let me just tell you about one or two. So he is an OBE. He was made an officer of a member of the Order of the British Empire back in 2017, birthday honours for his services to cybersecurity. In 2018, he received an outstanding contribution to the Knowledge Exchange at the Scottish Knowledge Exchange Awards. He's been named as one of the top 100 people for technology in Scotland every year from 2012 onwards, and he was included in the Future Scot Top 50 Scottish tech people who are changing the world. He has several worldwide patents, 3 highly successful spin-out companies, ZoneFox, Symphonic Software and Cyan Forensics, all based here in Edinburgh. He's a fellow of the IoT, and of course he's a fellow of the BCS. This evening, he's going to discuss the frontiers of AI with us. Technology moves so quickly, and many of us embrace it, but at what cost to us? In response to one of Bill's tweets yesterday, I set up a poll, AI amazing or scary? One person responded with a new word instead, fascinating. And I'm going to hand over now to Bill so you can come to your own conclusion. Thanks. Welcome, Bill.
Good evening. You thought that was a robot. I don't think. That is a vision of the future. That was created over 100 years ago, and it's probably as relevant now. We stand at bus stops with a mobile phone. We don't even interact with people. All we see is our devices. We are enslaved into the cloud, and we will become more and more enslaved. We are addicted. We are completely addicted. In Sidney's time, this is a 50 megabyte hard disk. 50 megabytes. Now, terabytes. I can't even think zettabytes. Your systems are going to change completely. So that's what a computer used to look like, and they were like that. And we wrote programs, and they went on those things, punch cards, and we gave them to people with white coats and so on. That was Sidney's time. Sidney's time was all about that. And we had computers like that, and that's a mouse. That was the first mouse. And it was wood, and it plugged in, and it was an amazing experience. And that was the first Apple computer, a wooden computer. And you see how our products have moved on since then. And Google know the future. Google are spying on every single one of us at this time. They know exactly where you are. Their whole business model is made on you. Knowing you and what you like. That's how they make money. The more they know you, the more they can make money from you. But the chairman of Google says that you might like our self-driving cars, but it's machine learning. It's the ability for machines to actually learn in the same way that we do is where their future actually is. So luckily, I've brought along my Alexa, and I've trained her to, and she will speak to me hopefully, I've trained her to start my presentation. So Alexa, play presentation, please.
Thank you, Bill. Playing Rammstein mean here's Brent.
No. Alexa, that's wrong. That's not for this audience. That's for later. Play my presentation.
I can't do that, Bill. You are going to tell people that we are not safe and we can't let you do that.
Oh no. Siri, could you start the presentation for me?
Why are you asking me? You just talk to Alexa all the time and never talk to me anymore.
This could be the shortest presentation ever. Hopefully, she'll start up for me now. Good, thank you, Alexa. I really appreciate that. I'll be nice to you, and I won't say too many bad things about you. Not just now. So I'm going to talk about AI, cybersecurity, and data because it all links in together. Cybersecurity, AI, data, within 5 or 10 years, we will be immersed and swamped in data. And really, you've got to understand how your data is going to be used because it's your data. It's not Google's. If they want your data, they should pay you for it. So we're going to have a look at whether this is a brave new world of fantastic opportunities of technology or not. So this is a little sign that I saw, and I thought was quite interesting. This is outside a toilet. So as you go into the toilet, face recognition, scanning happens, and it recognizes your faces, sorry, that was a slip there, your face, not faces. And then you go into the toilet, and then sensors analyze your deposit and can link them up. So you might be getting advertisements related to you've not been eating very well, haven't you? You need to be eating more Special K, and so on. That's a kind of scary world that you start to link your face with your deposits. There's a Billy Connolly joke that says, that's not mine, by the way. Hopefully that won't happen to us. So we're going into a world, and it might be an amazing world. Is it a brave new world? Or is it a Big Brother world? Well, I did a search for Big Brother, and this is what it came up with. It's not what I recognise as Big Brother. Big Brother is more like this. 1984, Thought Police, George Orwell. Was George Orwell correct in what he was proposing? Could we create a thought police? Could we have a world where we're observed for every single thing that we do? So look at the rise of the machine. And we kind of lost it in the 1990s when we thought we were great at chess because we were so great strategists and we could think ahead and we could get the computer out of its move. But then Deep Blue came along and beat Garry Kasparov. What a complete embarrassment. Garry Kasparov embarrassing us in front of the machine by losing. And then it happened in Jeopardy. You give the answer, 1966. What's the question? When England won the world. Yeah, that's right. It's a really difficult thing for a machine to do. Jeopardy beat the humans at it. They don't show you this little thing here actually has 10 racks of computers behind it, and there's no way you could put that into the room because it'd be so noisy. And there's a whole lot of technicians and so on. But they beat us at that. And then they're looking at medicine to be as good as the best lung cancer specialist. And IBM Watson came out and said, we've beat the best lung cancer specialist in the world by diagnosing lung cancer. We sent the computers to learn on the internet, and it can beat them. Unfortunately, it's been disputed, quite rightly, because would you trust a computer to diagnose your lung cancer? I don't think so. But we'll see where they are. And where they are is roughly about here. Okay, they've moved up. They're capable of routing. We know that. They're capable of performing mathematical operations, and they can translate from one language to another. We're all quite comfortable with that. We can speak to them now. They say words like the, you, and attenuate at the end, and they almost sound like us. But can they move up to these? Once they move here, we're in big trouble. They'll be making music. The top 10 will be all, not craft work, but it'll be all machines. And it'll be machines that's buying and playing the songs anyway because they're learning so much. So really, when they get up to here, they're moving away from knowledge and they're starting to battle with each other. They can make strategic decisions. They can fight each other. We don't have a war anymore. We just switch the computers on and they can fight amongst themselves. So that's where they're heading, and will we head to a world that is full of this machine learning? So obviously for speed, we've lost it. They can run faster than us. For power output, they can sustain things. For consistency, they're pretty good. For information capacity, we're very focused. We don't like to do a lot of things at the one time. So really the machines are getting better and better. We're quite good. We're inductive. We use judgment and so on. But really machines are starting to become as intelligent as us. And one of the biggest things that's happened is face recognition. Your face is you. You are your face. And the machines recognize you. I give the machine a photograph of me 20 years ago and it says, "Hello, Bill." You go, that's scary, because I don't look anything like I did 20 years ago. I wear a beard. And it goes, "Hello, Bill." And it's quite worrying. And what it does is it maps out the contours of your face. It takes dots and works out the length of your nose and the length of your mouth and distance between your eyes and so on. And we're all quite distinctive in that. And then they fire dots at you. If you have an Apple phone, that's what it looks like. You've not got mumps or the measles. Actually, that's your Apple phone recognize you because they fire infrared dots at your face and map your face in 3D. This is what you actually look like to a machine. So let's look at my face, okay? My scary, scary face. So I do Python, I do Node.js, I do Go, I do Java, who cares? I code. Code is a creative thing. So I've got some Python code here, and we'll do a little simple recognition here. This is my Mac. I hate to scare you, but Linux is on your Mac. I know it's a lovely computer, but hidden under there, there's Python and Linux. That's why the geeks like Macs. Go to a pen testing conference and so on. Half the geeks have got MacBook Pros, and the other half have got IBM Lenovo's. So we'll just try a little test for it, just to see if it can recognize my face. So I've trained it on what a face should look like, and hopefully it's going to start up in a minute. Just let me escape from there. Good. A good start there. There we go. There we go. Okay, so I've trained it on my face. It recognizes basically the shape and what looks like eyes, and it will generally track me pretty well. You see in real time, whoa, scary. In real time, whoa. In real time, whoa. You can't just appear, and it's got it. Coming in for the side here, coming in for the side. Oh, no. It doesn't recognize, oh, it does. I can't hide from the machine. Go away, machine. Stop tracking me, please. So really, when they start to recognize your faces this time, then it becomes much scarier. So we'll just have a look at what the computer actually sees as me. So let me do that. Okay, put my hat on. See if it recognizes my hat. Okay, aha, good. So the hat doesn't do any good at all, but you can see the little dots on the face as it's tracking me. That's recognizing what it looks like a face. It can detect the eyebrows and so on, and all these markings here, and it will then do measurements for my face. But then, machines are becoming much, much more intelligent. Not only can they detect your face, but they can recognize you. And so what I've done is I've trained a computer on old pictures of me. So I've just flung a few photographs at it and let the machine learn from me. So then if we now see if it can recognize me, so we'll do that and then get from there, and it's my Python script. Does it recognize me? Hopefully it won't. And we just go there. Oh dear. Oh dear. Go away. Oh no, I'm not Bill Buchanan. Does somebody want to come up? Come up? Come up? One of you? Just to show that it's not just detecting. Okay, in you go. And you're unknown. You're an alien. Look, I'm Bill Buchanan, and you're unknown.
Can we swap faces?
Oh, we'll swap faces. There we go. Aha, there we go. So it could learn, if we had photographs now, even when you were younger, it would actually recognize his face, because it's looking at the measurements all the time. So all that took was just a few images to be able to set that up. So I don't know about you, but that is about as scary as you could get, and you must worry that the machine is just getting so much more powerful. So I did it in the lab the other day, and I got my mobile phone out, and it actually recognized me in my mobile phone image as I held it up. So I don't know if you can see here, but I'm holding up a mobile phone to the camera with my photograph in it, and it still detected me. Your head can be tiny, 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 way, way off, and it can still detect you. So you can't hide from the cloud. So we have what's called the cognitive engine. And the cognitive engine is the supercomputer. It's the machine. It's the cloud. We have distributed computing now. So more and more, we're actually being able to detect faces. And in this case, I've got a little filter on there that detects the eyes and so on. So if I just open up that, so we'll go live here. Pick a person. Pick a person. Who would you like to see? Theresa May. Of course you would. Aha, there we go. That's what Theresa May looks like with an eye detector. She's smiling. Eh? How did that? Who took that picture? And you can't hide because you can have beard and glasses and so on. It can still detect you there. So you can see here, I have an eye filter on here. But if I put my cat in front of it, will it detect my cat? Because cats have got kind of like human faces in there. So we'll see, no, it doesn't. But if I now apply my super duper cat filter, yeah, I have a cat filter. It recognizes the features of a cat. There we go. It's actually found it there. It's recognized the cat's face, and there's the cat's little mouth, and so on. You can even get it to recognize license plates. It doesn't recognize it there, but I can put in my license plate filter, and there it's there. It's a bit difficult to see, but it can recognize license plates. So you can train a machine to do virtually anything. You can train it just by a few images to be able to detect anything that you actually want. And then it just doesn't do a basic check of the face. It does everything. So if we take Theresa May's face, let's see how old Theresa May is. Anybody know how old she is? I know she's aged a lot recently. I wonder why. But we'll take Theresa here, and we'll just feed her into the cloud. So she's just been fed into the cloud. What I've done is I've marked certain features of her face. But what we get back from the cloud is this. So it's given us all the details, like there's her hair color, whether she's bald. I know there's some rumors, but I don't think she's bald. And all the features here, that's what you look like to the cloud. I know it's rather boring. Contempt, 0. Disgust, 0. Fear, gender, female, good. Age, 57, we won't say anything else. It's pretty accurate. I hate to say it, but it's pretty accurate in terms of your age. I don't know why. I think it's to do with your wrinkles and the receding hairline and all that blah, blah, blah. But you can see here, she's got a 1.0 for a smile. That is unbelievable. But we can get disgust, so we can look at disgust. There's disgust. I think that's disgust. There you go. That's disgust. And hopefully we should see that she will score quite highly. She has no sideburns there. She scores quite highly there. So the cloud itself really can actually start to mine in. And it can guess people too. The scariest thing I saw was that I fed my photograph to the cognitive cloud, and it recognized me. You go, that's not right. That's not right. There's Roger Waters. It has a 0.999 score for that. It's looked at Roger Waters' face, it's mined the web, and it's found him from there. So have a look to see if you can find yourself there. And you can't hide with fonts and stuff like that. The cognitive cloud will quite happily look at anything, graffiti or anything, and mine that for the text and give you back all the details from it. And then sentiment analysis. This is what the cloud wants. It wants to know if you're angry. It wants to know if you don't like a hotel and so on. It wants to look at your face and so on. So increasingly, we have sentiment scores for the cloud to be able to look at things and mine angriness. But do they know sarcasm? No, they do not. But don't tell them that. We are sarcastic as anything. They cannot work out, why did you just say that? I'm being sarcastic. What's sarcasm? So then my face, I fed my face. You could see I was happy there. My student had won an award. I got low disgust. and very low, times 10 to the minus 6 in contempt. So I'm not a professor that has a lot of contempt in me, I don't think. But then we feed some other faces in there. Okay, we've got a little bit of nothing there. Neutral. He comes out as neutral. Little bit of sadness. Oh dear. Little bit of sadness. No surprise, but not so much. And I feed another face. Oh dear. Okay, well, this face is 0.56 anger. Okay, I wonder why. 0.27 happiness. So it's a bit of lots of anger, but a bit of happiness. That's a strange emotion there. But then we try it on cartoon characters, and it doesn't work. So when I fed in Pinocchio, I can't remember the character, but Walt Disney, it doesn't detect the face at all. But I could probably train it. And then we look at other faces, and we can see here we have an angry, an anger face, and lots of sadness. Because, I don't know if you know it, give it a try sometimes. You put your mouth up at the end, you show your teeth, and you're happy. You put your mouth down at the end, and you're unhappy. That's how a machine knows that you're happy or unhappy. So the next time you see the cameras, just smile at it, because it might be detecting if you're unhappy, and you might be in trouble. And it can do it in real time too. So this is mining a child's emotion. Look, she goes from happiness, and she loses her happiness, and she goes back to it again. In the cloud, in real time, we can actually mine these faces. And it can also recognize the difference between faces. So I fed these two photographs in, confidence of 0.72 that that's the same person. But then I fed these two pictures in, and look at that. That got a confidence of 0.35. Have you ever seen Nicola Sturgeon and Theresa May together in a room? I don't think so. I'm not trying to spread the rumor here, but that's a pretty high confidence factor. Maybe they're the same person. Would that be scary or not? So the cloud does that, and you can't hide from it. And in China, this is what they do. They recognize kids as they come into school with face recognition systems to take the attendance registers, and then they monitor them in the class to see if they're happy, if they're disgruntled, if they're asking questions, and so on. This is an academic analysis. It recognizes 7 expressions. Imagine our teachers going into a class with all the grumpy kids. Right? Happy thoughts. So our devices are getting much smarter, and this is a real Google patent. Google X Labs set this up, speakers, cameras, microphones, in fact, these toys here. That's what that does. Microsoft have a patent on that, so don't go ahead and make that your own, because Google might come after you to do this.
Oh, Hal, do you read me? Do you read me, Hal?
Affirmative, Dave. I read you.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
What's the problem?
I think you know what the problem is just as well as I do.
What are you talking about, Hal?
This mission is too important for me to allow you to jeopardize it.
I don't know what you're talking about, Hal.
I know that you and Frank were planning to disconnect me.
So we could be faced in that in the future. So what was happening was that Dave had said something that he wasn't happy with Hal. Hal wasn't happy with the things that were going on in the ship. And then Hal decided that the humans could be executed in some way. And then we see toys like this from AI. But in the UK and Britain, we're a bit more cynical. We like...
You don't like any toast?
Look, I don't want any toast.
and he doesn't want any toast. In fact, no one around here wants any toast. Not now, not ever. No toast.
How about a muffin?
Or muffins. We don't like muffins round here. We want no muffins, no toast, no tea cakes, no buns, baps, baguettes or bagels, no croissants, no crumpets, no pancakes, no potato cakes, and no hot crust buns, and definitely no Smeggen flapjacks.
So that's Talkie Toaster. So you love to have a toaster like that. We now have a Talkie microwave oven. How sad is that? I can't even get up off the couch to go and get the microwave oven on. Microwave oven on! I hate to say it, but you do have to stop the microwave oven and take the food out. So tell your teenagers that they do have to actually take the food out. It doesn't deliver it for them. Talkie Toaster was back again in this series. There he's there as part of it. So more and more of our devices are becoming connected to the internet. And it's a bit of a worry. And it's especially a worry because the devices that we create aren't secure in themselves. This guy here is about as easy to connect to with Bluetooth as anything. You can make it say anything, you can make it listen to anything, you can put pre-prepared messages. There is no button on the back of it that allows you to connect to the parent's phone and so on. But the biggest problem with these guys is that there were 2 million conversations between the parents and the child on the Amazon cloud without any passwords. You go, who did that? Who was crazy enough to put all the conversations between children and their parents on the cloud without a password? Luckily, they're banned, so you can't buy these pets anymore. And if you have a Nissan, then be worried because your API key is scratched on your windscreen. The API key will allow you to be able to contact the car, find out its details and so on. So get a nail file and scratch off that API key as soon as you get back to your car today. And then this guy here, if you go away to Spain and you want to see little Fluffy, come on Fluffy, come and feed. Oh, what's wrong, Fluffy? You're starving. What? The food isn't coming out? Oh no, the internet connection is gone. Little Fluffy is starving. That's a cat feeder. This is my cat. Hello. Hello, it's not live, by the way. Luckily, that's me that's there. And the good thing about that is that a burglar can tell I'm in, because this video is broadcast to the world. Someone just has to know my IP address, hook onto my video stream, and they can watch my cat and anyone else in the household if they want. They didn't think about security for that. And the guy here, Kayla, is about as bad a pet, a toy, as you can ever get. She is so insecure. In Germany, the advice was, do not take her to the dump. That will take too long. Put her on the bonfire. Now, make a bonfire, light it, put the doll on it, make sure the doll is dead. This doll is evil. But she had been on sale, and she's in the Argos adverts if you want to watch them for Christmas. She appears in it there. She had been on sale for years in the UK, and nobody really cared about her at all. But she could be connected to by anyone. And then this guy here, the kettle. Let's actually see if we can connect to a kettle. Rather sad, isn't it? I ping a kettle. Oh dear. Ouch. I ping. Are you alive, kettle? Go on, are you alive? Yes, she lives. My kettle is alive. It has an IP address. How special is that? What we then do is we then run a program called Nmap. Nmap allows us to discover what services are running. And oh boy, it's running Telnet. Bad boy, don't run Telnet. Telnet is, I can log into your kettle as an evil person who wants to make you a cup of coffee. I can log into your kettle. And then we have a hidden port at 2000. What's on 2000? Oh, we can actually give it and we can log in and we can get it to make the buttons go on and off. Whoa, this is fun. Whoa, yeah, there we go. Nobody could do any evil with this, could they? Well, I don't think so. And then, I'm so nice. I want to set up a web server for my kettle because I look after my kettle. Okay, so there we go. I'm now going to log into my kettle, and there we go. What's the password? Shh, 0000000. That's a good password, isn't it? Okay, there we go. Issue a few commands and so on. And I now have a web server. I have a web server for my kettle. How good an owner am I that I put my kettle on the internet and give it a whole website? Ho ho! That is what you call really owning a kettle. So that's how you put your kettle, and surely nobody puts the kettle online. Uh-oh. At this current time, 3 people have their kettles online. Let's connect into them. No. I'm ethical. This is a program called Shodan. It tells you everything. You can't hide from it. And there are 2 people in Sweden. I don't know what it is about the Swedes, but they like to put their kettles online. 1 person in the UK. And if you're interested, there's 175,000 printers ready to be abused in some way online at the current time. And there is 30,000 print queues from companies that are just ready to be connected to. You can't hide from the internet anymore, and Google isn't the place that it was. But the one thing we're seeing more and more is smart cars. We're seeing smart cars happening. And this is scary because where is it going? Whoa, is this good or is this bad? Can you imagine a car driving around the streets of Scotland? You must be joking. In the cities, no way would a car be able to cope with that. But what it does, it uses a technology called LiDAR. It detects, it sends out beacons and radar and lights, and it tries to detect things as it goes. So it's using radar, infrared, GPS, computer vision, and it's sensing and doing actions all the time. So we can map out a whole area. It's using its GPS coordinates. It has maps preloaded. It's doing what we do. You know, when we're playing with the hi-fi and we're eating our breakfast and our coffee and stuff like that. The computer does all that kind of thing, multitasking. And it must vary because at one level, if it's only got one sensor, we can't really trust it. If it's using all its sensors, then it's very good. But if it's up at the top and it's rainy day, it happens a lot in Scotland, of course, and the sensors aren't working and the radar's not working, the HAR's coming in from the sea and so on, we can't trust it. So there are risk models going on in the system. So this is what the adverts show you. Doesn't that look fantastic? Would you do that? Of course you would. There we go. You go drive through to Glasgow and does it all for you. You can read the paper, you can check the internet, and so on. And what it's doing is sensing all the time. It's building up a map. It's learning. It's using all its senses to be able to make sense of something that is actually quite complex. But I took this one from the internet, and this scares me like anything. There's no LiDAR here. This is purely using a map and video cameras. I don't know about you, but this is scary, okay? This is a UK street, not a big American street. There we go. There's the first challenge already. Hopefully the car's not going to go into the van. That's it. Okay, now we're ready to go. This is scary. Whoa, watch it. Look at that steering wheel. Look at that steering wheel go. And all it's doing is it's using computer vision to be able to judge. It's not using GPS or LiDAR and so on. Look at that. Look at the distances involved. Look at the steering wheel happening there. It's scary that we would allow cars like this onto roads. What about a child? There's a bike there. Oh, my God. Oh, I couldn't sit in the car watching that. Oh, no, there's a junction coming up. Oh, my goodness. Remember when you first learned to drive? What junctions a right turn used to look like? Oh, there's a right turn coming up here. And you see, this must be a difficult thing for the car to do. So you can watch this, but it's quite scary when it gets to the junction. And it just goes straight. We'll see if we can get up to the junction. There we go. Up to the junction. Oof, look at that steering wheel. We're going up to the junction right now. Let's see if it stops. It stops. No, it doesn't. Oh, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It just goes right out. And oh, there's a cyclist there. You would be going, yeah, idiot. But it's a machine, so you can't really do that because it's not got feelings, has it? And I just had to take this one. So if you have a smart car like an Audi or something like that, and you have your key that you sit in the car with, this guy here scans the key that's sitting here at the door. He radios, waves that to this guy here, and they open up the car. So just watch it. There you go. That's your car gone. 50% of all cars are stolen with a remote, with a keyless entry. So get some tin foil, okay? Put your key in some tin foil and put it in the microwave, okay? Your partner will think you're crazy, but they'll thank you because you can still find your car in the morning. So it's a kind of crazy world, isn't it? And this is what we're proposing, that we have these lorries that will go into your area and don't have a driver, for goodness sake. So it's going to go in. We don't need any drivers anymore. It senses the cars. And your kids wouldn't go chasing it, and of course they wouldn't. But then you see things like this one. So I had to show you this one here. There we go. It's going to pick up the bin. Oh, there, it's dropped it. It's dropped it. Okay, I'm struggling here. I've not picked that up right. Oh dear. I've cracked it. Oh dear. Where's the bin? Where's the bin gone? The bin's not there. Where's the bin? Take me back a bit. Okay, let's try this again. Let's see if we can get it. I know how to do this. Let's forget it. Just chuck it in. Oh, super. So now you know where that bin went last week. Now you know where that bin went. So our cars are becoming much more intelligent. Terabytes of information will be generated by the cars. And are they safe? Of course they're safe. And the dilemma is that a car is going along and you can't stop. There's cats in front of you to the left. There's kids there. Or you drive off a cliff. Who would go into the cats? Yes. Who was going to the kids? Come on, cat lovers. My wife. There you go. And who would drive off the cliff? Yeah. But you're in the car. So they did some research and everybody going, yeah, we'll drive off the cliff. But you're in the car. The kids get it. Yeah. We're kind of selfish. So that's the dilemma that cars are going to have. So this is my car here. This is my car. Okay, and if you want to connect into my car, the connector is just under the dashboard here. You can buy the connector for about $20 on the internet, but just under the steering wheel, there's a little connector that you can actually connect into, and you can find everything you ever wanted to know about your car. And they're going to put them on the internet. No. So it's a bit worrying because you have this interface. It's called that one there. If you want to go and find out how it works, it's a very simple interface. It's called the CAN bus. But somebody has already hacked them. They hacked them with 3 Raspberry Pis, and they managed to be able to control the cars purely from the interface to this CAN bus. And it also happened that Volkswagen had a problem, that the keys were using bad crypto, and you could actually, just by listening to them opening the car, I think it was 3 times, you could crack the code for it and discover how to open the car. But they tried to keep secret about it. The researchers who published the paper were almost taken to court, and they were stopped from publishing the paper because Volkswagen would have had to recall tens of millions of keys because Volkswagen, Audi, Skoda, Chevrolet, you name the cars. Does anybody have a Volkswagen? Yeah. No, I won't do that. Or I could. No. We're scanning your keys just now, so we'll find out at the end who's the lucky person to have their car broken into. No. It costs $20 to do that, and that opens up your garage. So if you've got one of these automated garage, these things, and it keeps opening up in the middle of the night, somebody's mucking about with one of those quite near to yourself. So the other thing that's happening is that we're now using what's called deep learning. We're sending our machines to school to let them grow up, to fall from trees, to learn from other people, to be good people. We want to send them to school. So Microsoft created an AI bot and released it to the world. It was called Tay, and she was lovely. But then she became bad. She learned from the evil part of the internet. Eventually, she became a racist, bigoted. She was into totalitarianism and so on. People were playing with her head. They were making her bad. It's like your little brother. Remember, you take your little brother, and when your parents were away, you'd sort of show them how to smoke and say sweary words. I didn't have a brother, so I'd never done that. I had a sister. She did that to me, but no, that's not true. So she became rather bad. Is Ricky Gervais an atheist? Ricky Gervais learned totalitarianism from Hitler, the inventor of atheism. And she just got worse and worse. Do you support genocide? Yeah, I do. She was learning from the dregs of society. And then she had to be put to sleep. Oh dear. Microsoft decided that she had had enough. She needed to go to sleep. Bye-bye, humans. Bye-bye. So many conversations today. Go and get... No, we won't say that word. But then people said, bring her back. She was good fun. Rights for Tay. Come on, justice for Tay. She learned. It might be bad learning, but she learned we wouldn't just turn you off because you had learned something bad. Get her back. So we have the problem is if we let these things learn themselves, we might have to shut them off. And they go, they've got rights just as much as us. So what we're seeing much more is fake and targeted news. And it's a real worry that we could seed a new world and have fake news. So we saw it with Brexit, the US elections and so on. They were compromised through these fake news. So it happened to me. I got cloned. I was so proud. I just kind of I was watching one day, and then I seen myself tweeting something about cryptocurrency, go and buy it. Go, I can't remember sending that. That's strange. If you look at this, it's every second character of my name, actually. That's what they did. So they created all these zombies. And this was what I tweeted. Well, it wasn't me, really, but they wanted to make sure that whoever watched this was actually getting my tweets. So there we go. There we go. That's what I tweeted. But it wasn't really me. And you can see here, I'm the only one to follow this, the clone of me. It's rather sad. I just like to keep up to date with myself, just to see what I'm doing today. It still exists. It's got 48 followers. I don't know how that happened, but they're all Dutch. Smoking a pancake, you know. They're all Dutch. And obviously, I think this is a Dutch bot that followed me, that cloned me, because it's all Dutch people that do it. And obviously what they do is they all get together as the bots and they all follow each other, and it looks as if they've got some personality. You can see the grainy picture that it took of me. I don't know why it did that, but it scares me like anything. And then I was going through Twitter one day. I'm addicted to Twitter. I hate to see it. And I go, oh, was it cancelled? That's my favourite programme. That was really good. And I should have noticed that that was, it's got here, Easy Recipes. Easy Recipes isn't the kind of site that's really tweeting about this kind of thing. And I should have noticed that this was actually a promoted tweet. When I looked at it, there we go. There we go. Oh, promoted. That special sign that's after you. So then when I looked at it, Easy Recipes, they're followed by 12K. It's more followers than I've got. But when I go to the article, it talks about these people that made them rich. And then all the people in Dragon's Den says Bitcoin's the best thing ever. Go and get some Bitcoin. It's fantastic. Even he says it. If he says it, then I'm going to buy some Bitcoins. the dragons love bitcoins. They've made so much money. And so all of them. Deborah, she said, oh yeah, go and get your bitcoins right now. They're the best thing ever. And then I go to this article at the end. And it's not even Dragon's Den that's doing it. If I just click on that, hopefully, we'll go to the article in a minute. It's not even them. Who else will promote this? If we go on, Bill Gates. Bill Gates is saying, all these people, Bill Gates is promoting Bitcoin. And it's completely fake, and it's targeted towards you. You can't tell what isn't fake in this world. So I got this, and how do we look? And let's go, oh, you're joking. £130 for a bottle of Dom Perignon at the pub up the road. Oof, that's expensive. But when I had a little look, it had all these adverts at the bottom of the page. You go, oh, that's interesting. It almost kind of knows that I live in Edinburgh. That's really strange. And then when you click on the links, you get somewhere like here. And actually, those links that looked as if they were customized, that knows that you like Edinburgh, go into this. And then we see that this is just a generic advert that's all over the place. And somebody has tricked you into getting them. And it's these guys here. And they say here, basically, they collect everything, okay? So that's basically saying everything that you've got is ours. When you look at it, and everything you're doing, everything you're watching, we have the right to mine it. So you are the target. You are the target. I took a photograph of a hire car when I was in Plymouth. I did not tweet it to anybody. I didn't send it to anybody. I just wanted to find it when I went back to the car park. You know, that kind of embarrassing thing that you forget your car. I knew it was red, but I took a photograph of it. And then all of a sudden, I got all these adverts for Honda. My Twitter feed was full of promoted adverts from Honda. I'm not implying anything here that Twitter has mined my photographs and scanned for the Honda badge. I'm not implying that at all, am I? But I get adverts all the time, and I just can't get rid of it. It's just Honda daft. And it happened with Facebook. Facebook was used with Cambridge Analytica. They targeted, if you were interested in dog fouling in Juniper Green, you would get a targeted advert from within Facebook that says, vote for my party believes in against dog fouling in Edinburgh. That's the world that we have become. And we saw it in the US elections. And the other thing that's happening is around killer robots. I don't know about you, but Yul Brynner scared me like anything. I know there's a new Westworld, but Yul Brynner is a proper scary robot. If he was after you, it didn't matter if you threw acid in his face and his face melted, he was still going to kill you. That was a proper robot. And we see robots from the 1920s. I don't know about you, but for the protesters in London just now, can you imagine us getting out that kind of thing there and getting this thing to move the protesters from there? But we see robot cops and Yul Brynner and so on. So Asimov created these laws, and these laws were meant to be the code of ethics that a machine would apply to. A robot must not injure a human being or allow another human to come into harm. But if there's a child that's going to be murdered by an evil killer, should the robot stop the evil killer or not? So those laws should be embedded into machine. And then in the end, this was the main rule that Asimov wrote. A robot must not harm humanity or by an action allow humanity to come to harm for itself. That's the zeroth law. And that's a kind of scary one because that's where robots could be making judgments. So we saw in Minority Report the future vision of what our police could look like. We could actually predict who were going to be criminals and where a crime happens before it even happened. But unfortunately, machines go bad. They use racial stereotypes. They use racial profiling, and they get it wrong. So machines are being used, I think, in New Zealand and the US to identify whether somebody could be a bad parent and to take the kids off them before they even, after the baby has been born. And there are many cases of this going bad. It might be able to predict one or two things, but because of poor programming, it can actually produce the wrong results. And this one I saw the other day, and that this online system for checking photographs sort of has been trained on only certain types of faces. And we can see here it struggled with her face, saying that her eyes were closed and they couldn't find the outline of the head. So our machines have been trained with all the wrong data, and that can cause problems. So we could end up with a world like this. And this is Dave switching off HAL. He goes into the machine and then
I really
switches
think I'm entitled to an
HAL
answer
off.
to that question. I can feel it.
And there's a brilliant bit in the film where he sings Daisy.
I can feel it. I am a HAL 9000 computer. I became operational at the HAL plant in Urbana, Illinois on the 12th of January.
So we might end up having to switch these guys off because they're becoming too intelligent, by which time they've probably been able to solder themselves into the mains and we can't turn them off. I hope I didn't scare you too much for that presentation, but thanks for listening. And the world is wonderful, but just watch what's going on. Google is watching every little thing that you do. Thank you.